MinkLife Motivation Live. Yes, that's what we do when we have a live show. Anyway, I am excited to talk about branding for real, and I am joined by two of Well, that's what happens when you take a slight break from the live show. When you get back on live, you're like, wait, I forgot. Anyway, we are talking about branding for real, not just branding, but for real. And I'm joined by two amazing people. Tony Gordon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you, Peggy. I'm Tony Gordon. My company's called Change Your Mind Limited. I'm from Glasgow, just outside Glasgow in Scotland. I'm a growth mindset coach and a hypnotherapist. Simply put, I help my clients by educating them new processes and tools to find ways to move themselves forward, especially when they're starting a rut. I do that by helping them overcome stress, overburn, overwhelm, anything they actually go through that find life difficult, then I just help them to overtake that and move forward with their life.
Awesome. Now, Cassie Clayton, tell us about yourself.
So I'm Cassie Clayton. My company is Stargazers Unite. I am a website and branding alchemist. What I do, and very simply put, is I help create websites, logos, and brandings that radiate your soul out into the world. So if you are looking to if you kind of have an idea, or maybe you've been having your business for a while and you're looking to kind of like bring everything together or give it that up level, that's where I come in, and I bring people like to say I bring a little bit of magic to what I do, and add that to everything that we design together, and give everything you've got a boost.
Yes, Cassie always sprinkles her magic on things. All right, so let's get into this and talk about how has your branding for real affected you on your entrepreneurial journey? All right, let's start with Tony, since he's right here next to me.
Thanks, Peggy. For me, first of all, I'm a professional like Cassie here, so I'll just say what I think it is this year. I don't know about spreading magic on it, but at the beginning, when I went to set a business up, this is something that people don't tell you about. They don't explain to you about what branding actually is. They don't explain to you how you represent your branding to start with. That when you go to sit down with someone to look and say, well, what is it you want to do? People look at maybe the business ideas or what you do for a living, but they never actually look what brings that together. And I think that's having something like Cassie, they're having an expert on your hand that you can go to and look and say, right, what is it you really want to get across? And it's branding for real has got to show you. It's got to show that you as the person comes across in it. It's not what your business is or what it does. It's how you're going to make that person feel. So what is it you can really do for them? And that needs to come across with branding and everything. And branding affects from all aspects of your life. When you go into business, it's got to be you as a person. Because every single person you meet, then you are actually doing that with them. You're connecting with them, you're networking with them. So you are your brand as you do that. But also, when people look at your website or the lookings, they need to see you coming through that website because they need to trust that person. And that's what branding is so important about, is getting the message to a person, getting the trust to that person so that they know when they come to you, they know exactly what they're going to get.
Absolutely. Okay, Cassie, let's have you add to that.
So my story is kind of fun because a lot of the time I did my business for a very long time without actually applying branding to my own business. I was running around making everybody else look amazing. And then I got some business coaches that were like, nope, sit down, do the work on your own. Everything that you were doing for everybody else, apply it to yourself. And once I did that, just to give you an example of the impact that had, when people now go to my website and I'm literally showcasing to them through my website, through my branding, this is something that I can do for you. What I've what I'm doing for myself, this is something I can do for you. Everything from the way that I check people out when they sign up for a program or something with me, it's all done through my website. I literally use the website to not just show who I am, but also use it as an active tool in my business. And then being able to apply that and turn that around for people, not to mention consistency. Because once you have your brand, once you have your colors that you're working with, once you have the look and feel, that's very, very easy to replicate over and over again for your flyer, for your Instagram post. You would be amazed the color combination, the number of combinations that you can come up with using 3, 4, 5, 6 colors in your color palette, and you stick to that. And then everything that you produce looks like you, feels like you, is exact. And that is something that when people are looking at your Instagram account, your Facebook account, they notice that. And they notice that consistency. And it's something that I hear not just for myself, but also my clients, is how consistent you have helped make everything look and feel across the board.
Absolutely. I think that is absolutely so important to understand. That I think a lot of people think, oh, I have a logo, that's my brand, and that's not your brand. Your brand is so much bigger. So I forgot to announce my other co-host, which is you guys on the couch watching us, or in your bedroom, or wherever you happen to be watching this. So please leave comments and tell us how branding has affected you, because we want to hear from you. We would love for you to join this conversation, and we will just keep this conversation going. So I think for me, branding is so important, because I like what Cassie and Tony both mentioned, that it's something in consistency. It's a feel, it's an emotion. As a headshot strategist, I'm like, you can use your picture, like your picture should have the same feel and energy as your logo and as your website color and as all these things. Everything has to all merge together. So I bet that's going to be the topic of the day, or the word of the day is consistency. I'm foreshadowing that already. Okay. Are you guys ready for your next question? Let's get motivated with, why is it important to focus on your materials while branding? Okay. So I started with Tony last time. I'm going to start with you, Cassie. Why is it important to focus on your materials while branding?
So it's kind of going back to that, making sure that everything that you produce has that same look and feel. When you are, and who you're talking to is going to, so who you're talking to is going to matter when you're putting your brand together. So if your whole message is this very light, airy, fairy message, and you're using a very big and very bold brand, then it's kind of gonna hit in an interesting way. And so when I think it's important to be thinking about what it is you're wanting to produce and how you're wanting it to come across when putting your branding materials together, because having the look and the feel as well as your message in alignment is going to make everything, going right back to that consistency, to help make that consistent across the board.
Yes, I knew it. Okay, Tony, same question to you.
It's great points, like Cassie said, and it's when you think about it, the first thing you need to think about is who are your clients. Who is it you're trying to get the message to? Because that's what's so important about the materials that you use, the sites you use, whatever you want to promote yourself, is what are they going to read? What are they going to take from it? It's making sure you write it in such a way, the whole package is you coming across, but you've got to remember it's not all about you. It's they got to perceive you because they want to see the same values that you have. But the important part of that is it's what it says to that person. So if someone's sitting looking at something that you've made up, like a flyer, a leaflet, or maybe it's something you've done on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever the sites are you use, that they resonate with that. They're going to sit there and say, that's me. That's exactly who I am. That's the colours, the image, everything, but the content, the words are so important. And that's why it matters so much to make sure that whatever materials you use, it comes across to the people the right way. And you can put branding anywhere and everything that you do. And one thing Cassie mentioned, Peggy pointed out consistency. That's what nearly caught at me at the beginning. I do a lot of workshops for companies. So they asked me maybe things like coping for change, growth mindset, resilience, whatever it is. I was designing them to look for that company. What I wasn't doing was actually designing it to look like my company. So only reason I've done that, I've read it through all the workshops I've done. And Cassie's totally right. I took all the colours that are from my logo that I have, and I put all of them and put them onto these. Now there's a distinct pattern through all of mine. So when people see those materials, a lot of the time they don't see, and they just see the little picture from my logo, the colours, and they know exactly who it's from.
Absolutely. And I've been a professional photographer for 33 years, and that's been my goal. Is even though my logo has evolved through those years, from one to the next, you can always see that, you always keep that thread going, so that whenever anybody sees me or any of my products or any of my, materials, it's, oh, that's who that is. Even though there may be slight changes and growths, you do those changes in a pattern to where you can, keep that consistency going. And another thing, I know we're not just talking about like materials, but when you are getting like swag to hand out, like think about who your target market is, who's going to use it. I know that, I have marketing places sending me samples all the time. And it's like, I work with entrepreneurs and actors like nobody, and I live in Los Angeles. Nobody needs an umbrella. Why would I put my brand? Why would I put my thing and give this to a client? Give them something that they're going to use that's going to keep you on the front of their mind. So be thoughtful in the actual swag materials that you put your branding in. Okay, let's keep this moving. All right, we're going to stay inspired. How does a lack of understanding of how your branding materials are performing affect your move through life and business? So a lack of understanding, how does this affect you? Tony, we're going to start with you.
Well, I think my last point then that actually mentions part of that, the fact that I didn't have the right branding consistently through all the things that I was doing. So when I was putting workshops out to people, they saw them and knew it was something that they had wanted, but it did hinder me because the fact that they didn't realise that was me. They never couldn't pinpoint and say, well, wait a minute, looking at that, all they need to see is the colours, they need to see the logo, that's Tony. So it did sort of affect me that probably other people may have got business because they were looking to see who it was that done that without actually knowing who I was. And I think through networking, it came the realization with people even describing you. I've been at network recently and somebody couldn't remember me from a year ago, but remembered the guy that he spoke to, the Scottish one with the logo, it was a face on his. So that was how they remembered me. And if I hadn't have put this here or done, I would have lost that business because the person would never have remembered who I was. But they remembered the picture from 12 months ago and it stuck out. As soon as they told someone else, I know who that is. And then they in touch. And that's why whatever you do, whatever your branding thing is with it, is remember the person behind it. Because that's what ultimately they were thinking about. They remembered how I made them feel at a session. She might not remember my name, but she remembered the picture here, what she felt like. And that's, if you don't get that part right, that's what that will hinder you. So you need to make sure that you know exactly how your marketing's hitting with people through your branding. And if it's not getting that right, so I learned the lesson for that is I need to put my name on more things then, because that was the problem. A lot of people saw the picture but didn't see the change of mind. So now that everywhere I go, I put my company name there. So it's the last thing they see before they finish, and that's when they'll remember. And that's an important part.
Yes, absolutely. At least give them something they can Google besides dude with the face. But that's good that they,
It sounds weird when you say it that way, but yeah, I know what you mean.
It's great that they remembered it. This is so fun. Cassie, you're up. Same question.
Okay, so Peggy, do me a favor and thank you.
The lack of understanding of how your brand materials. Okay.
Right. So I've seen this a lot. So a lack of understanding of how your brand materials impact you or your business is like, for me, that translates into if somebody is really honestly, it's like that the business owner that usually comes to me and they've been kind of mod poshing their things together. They had a logo design done by this person. They had a website done by that person. They had this piece done by this person, and all of them have maybe their same messaging on it, but they all look kind of different. When you are looking different all the time, people don't have the regular consistency. When you're using different colors, when you're using different like something that just doesn't look or feel like you, or like Tony was saying, when it doesn't have your name on it, or it doesn't have the thing that connects back to you. One of the coaches that I've worked with, one of the things she'll say is always make sure your name is connected to your brand, because when you do go on a podcast, when you go out there and start talking, a lot of the times people are going to say, hey, I remember this person, but I don't remember what their brand was, or I remember the brand, but I don't remember the person's name. And so you've kind of got to you've got to constantly be connecting those dots for your clients. You've got to be connecting what you do, what you're here to help them with, who you are, and what your brand is, and what your brand stands for. Everything you do has got to get that across. And so, because without that, then they don't really know what that they'll like. I was with one of my friends who I've helped. I'm consistently helping their business, and we were at a big conference, and somebody actually came up to them and came up to their booth, and they're like, "I've seen your logo, but I have no idea who you are or what you do." Good news is they saw the logo. They had the recognition via the logo. Bad news is they didn't know what they did, and you don't always get that in-person opportunity to be able to connect those dots for people. So, you know, it is just kind of making sure that all the pieces go together, and that it's done and seen in a way that is. We're going to use the word consistent a lot this show, but consistency is going to be your key.
Absolutely. Consistency is everything. And while you were talking, Cassie, I thought of a story. I'll tattletale on myself. So my business used to be called Portraits by Peggy. And when I first started, everybody knew what family portraits were. You went to the photographer, you got family portraits. But about 15 years ago, people are like, so do you draw? And I was like, no, I'm a photographer. Well, it says portraits. Do you draw? And it was like, oh my gosh. So you have to realize, like, really be aware of what your clients, what words they associate with, and really be aware of how your branding is attracting or repelling your clients, because who knows how many people saw Portraits by Peggy and went, oh, I'm looking for a photographer. I'm not looking for someone to draw me a picture. You know what I mean? Because that word kind of changed over time, as language does. And so that really didn't become like a really effective marketing for me. So anyway, when you were saying that, Cassie, I was like, oh my gosh, that literally happened to me. Like, people were like, what do you do? And I was like, there's a camera on my logo. What do you do? So it's really important that we do understand that. So this is a great conversation.
Yeah, Peggy, I think somebody said that. I was at a session recently with a couple of therapists, and it fits in with that. We put a thing out saying about, the session was about unplugging, so how you can unplug. And a couple of the younger ones spoke to me that day that I know and said, what's this program about? And we went, well, it was to how you unplug and how you just relax. And they went, what does unplug mean? And I never thought of it, but we think different generations we think of. See if I'd put now and you look at that and say unplug, but they say, well, we don't unplug anything. How many people actually used to be, before we unplug everything at the wall, but they don't do that now. They said, why don't you just call it log off? And I went, well, that's what I'll call it in future. I'll call it log off, because they understood that terminology. But
awesome.
They didn't have a clue what I meant. But it was a great thing when we were all therapists sitting in a room together saying, what do we do with that? And it's something you've got to remember with your branding is you're doing it to different generations as well. So you've got to suit everybody and find, you're right when you said the portrait. If you think about that, most people go to an art gallery, they see a portrait and it's a painting on a wall. They don't associate it now with maybe a photograph. Like
not anymore.
So you've always got to remember, as things change, we have to adapt. Your branding needs to adapt with you and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I never thought that the kids don't know what unplug means, because what, unplug your charger? Why would you unplug, because that's literally everything's battery operate. That just blew my mind.
Well,
that's funny.
And another example I just kind of wanted to throw out there is because since I do tend to attract a lot of like psychics, mediums, people like that I work with, I'm always telling them, keep your words very, very, very simple, because a lot of the times when we're working with an energy worker or a light worker, there are buzzwords that fly around that particular community all the time. But when you think about it, there are a lot of people who are not in that community, and they do not, they may be attracted to that community, but they don't know what those words mean. And they are everyday language for people. And so like, just to give an example, like, a lot of the classes were like, they would try to be very clever with the names and have these long drawn out names and really long descriptions and everything like that. And then when they literally changed it to like Crystals 101, they had like 20 people sign up for it. Like Sage, learn how to Sage 101. Everybody signed up for it because they're like, oh, that's something that I know or have heard about that I want to know more about. But once, like, when you got into the more complicated verbiage, you'd have one person show up. Keep it simple. Like a lot of the times we try to overcomplicate our message.
That was good for me to hear, because when I'm helping people in the Headshot Strategy program identify their clients, I don't talk about their language as much as that's going to be added. Cassie, you just added to my program. I like that, because it's so true. And you too, Tony, saying unplug, like literally I say unplug all the time. And I imagine that anybody, the Gen Zs are like, what is she talking about?
And there's a really good point in that just somebody put up from one of the viewers, is that you've also got to think is you need, just Cassie saying, your language has got to be mainstream. It's got to not just cross over the different sort of genres or ages, but it's also got to cross over nationalities. Remember, look what we're doing here. Look where we're all from, all different areas, parts of the world. So we've got to make sure, that's a really good point, that when you're putting these terminology, whatever we use to describe us, that it's got to be something that's the same across whatever you want. So in the US, whether it's the UK, whether it's Europe, Asia, we have to find that way of making sure it's something that the branding gets across everywhere.
This is such a good conversation. I'm so excited we're back doing this live show every week. Okay, no more breaks to our producer, Monica. Okay, let's keep networking. Now, this is an easy question we all have an answer to. Who should we ask for help when we are trying to improve our brand? All right, Cassie, who should we ask when we're trying to improve our brand?
You should have asked me, and I would just say Cassie. Then that solves my part. That's me done. Then I'm finished.
I think all of us should say us. Like us. Yes,
us here on the show.
Cassie, you should ask Tony. You should ask Peggy.
Because I also want to say, it's so important to look at all aspects of your brand, because it's not like you can come to me and I can help you get the look and the feel for your colors and how you want that brand to come across. But you're going to need someone like Tony to help you get your words right, and get the messaging right. And then you need somebody like Peggy, because guess what? If you have a business, you are part of your brand. And a lot of people, I'm guilty of it as well, they try to hide behind their logo. They try to hide behind their brand, and they are their brand. So to make sure that you have a headshot that is showing who you are, that you are, you know, like if you want to have, like if your company's fun and exciting, like you want your headshot to be more fun and inviting. And I see the comment, no more selfies as headshots. Absolutely. Because it isn't just one person that you need to be working with. It is, you need to really have a team that's helping you coordinate all these different pieces of it. And one of the really cool parts about having MinkLife University and this is that we are connected to so many phenomenal people who we already know each other a little bit. We already kind of can work together. When we got a client, it's like, oh, this person can help you with this person can help you with that person can help you with that, and we know each other and we've worked with each other before, and we can help each other and be on the same page in helping you.
So Cassie just gave a great commercial for the Minkubator, so we're going to talk about that later. But Tony,
took my thunder. That was me going to sound like a specialist saying the same thing. No, I agree totally with Cassie that one respect, you need people like all of us that can do it, because you need to get that different opinions from people, but also there's different pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that needs to be put together. So yeah, having the visuals, having the content, but having, what did you put it earlier, but a little bit of magic that adds all that brings that together. So it's great, we can all have bits, but we need that little bit of magic that puts that together. But one thing don't forget as well is to do some validation. And what I mean by that is, think of your clients. Who are the people that's going to see all of this branding? Who are the people that's going to identify with it? If you already know people, maybe previous clients you've had, or friends, or someone you know, it's in the industry that you know, then why not say to them, this is what I'm doing. Do me a favour, can you have a look? And I've got a few quick questions to ask you just to see what you get from it. So you validate all that work you're putting together to make sure it's landing with the people it matters. Because you can look at something and it can look, well, Cassie will know this, people think they can do this amazing logo. They can have an amazing website. It looks brilliant, but it doesn't actually tell the people anything. So they wonder why they don't get any traction on their website, because no one comes to them. Because they put it on and if you lose people, was it 5 to 7 seconds? Like that, it's just disappeared because there's nothing that catches them. That first question, the first thing they see, like, do you this? And they go, oh, that's me. That's the people that need to answer it. So yeah, it's great having all of us, but don't forget to check with the people that's going to hit home to make sure it really does get the message across.
absolutely. I'm going to channel Andrea right now and say maps and mirrors. We need somebody to guide us, and we need something to reflect back so that we can see where the flaws are, where the holes are, where the gaps are. So we need the people that are going to inspire us, and we need the people that are going to like talk real to us.
Yeah, that's
fix it. That's awesome. You guys, this has been so much fun. Now it is time to gain some knowledge. So this is the speed round. We've given so much, but this is your final one thought, your final tip for growing in the area of branding for real. And let's see, Tony, you're up.
Well, one part I would say is, but what I say, go see Cassie anyway, right, and get to speak to her no matter what I come up with. But for mine, it's about a saying. It was something that I read, and the gentleman's name, I think, is Jay Danzy, and it's that your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having that experience with you, that becomes your trademark. So that's the one thing for me is, you can do all the branding ever in the world with your materials, how everything looks, but don't forget, the most important branding in the lot is you as a person. It's how you do that and the way you come across to them. So that's now one thing that would really help you. Start with yourself. When you've done that, then move forward.
I think that was a mic drop moment right there, Tony. That was 100% on. Okay, Cassie, you get to follow that up with your one tip.
Sure. So my one tip is to be authentic. You want to be as authentic as you can be with your messaging. Be as transparent as you can be with your audience. That's one of the things that, especially after I've worked with a client or them coming, or a potential client going onto my website, it's like, you are very transparent in how you operate, and having that transparency and being able to just show them you is going to end up attracting your people, and then therefore your people are it's so much easier to work with your people, right? But yeah, just be authentic. Get as authentic and as transparent as you can.
Yay, this has been so good. This is just, so I'll add one tip really quick. My one tip is consistency. And since, I'll just sum it up with that. Everything Tony said, everything Cassie said, and consistency. You guys, this has been so much fun. Now it is time for announcements. No, I don't know. I don't know Monica's song. I'm not going to try. It's time for announcements. So, I want to see, let's see, Tony, how can people reach you? What would you like people to do to reach out to you? Do you have any announcements?
Yeah, at the moment they can get a free consultation myself. So don't sit at home struggling with anything. If you feel any stress at all, overwhelmed, please reach out to me so that you don't end up with being sort of burnt out. I definitely don't use the words anxious and depressed, as most people would say, because they become labels for people. So if you want to look at a different way and go over these issues, contact me. Get me on my website. It's changingyourmindlimited.com. Or just go in there. You'll see there's different buttons on it. Just press on there to get in touch with me. Book a call. You get 30 minutes. I'll try what I can to help you there. And if we need anything further, then we can arrange that.
Absolutely. All right, Cassie, what is your announcement for us today?
Well, for today, I actually do have a special for everybody that is in MinkLife and connects through MinkLife. So anybody who connects with the link on this live, it's stargazersunite.com. There is a special that I do offer for my websites. And my branding and logo packages. So, but also if you're just interested in coming on and having a conversation, that is still that link gets you to be able to book an appointment with me. Just come on, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the different ways we can work together to either improve your business and your branding, or if you just want to get on it and have a chat with me and see how we can collaborate in our businesses. That's a great link to use as well for that.
Awesome. Well, if you would like to find out how to use your headshot for branding for real, reach out to my headshotstrategist.com and book a free consultation, and we'll see if we can help you brand for real with your headshot. All right, now, as Cassie kind of earlier insinuated, the Minkubator is the coolest. The MinkLife community is an amazing community. We have so many things going on all the time. Go to minkuniversity.com to see all the things that are available out there. Get involved. There's always a 14-day free trial. Jump in, get involved, and find out how you can be part of this community and how we can strengthen each other and help each other in our entrepreneurial journeys. And we have conferences all over the world, all of the time going on. It seems like all of the time. They're every quarter, but when we have them in different areas, it does seem like all the time. So if you're in a dynamic speaker and you're interested in sharing your zone of genius, go to nextglobalvirtualconference.com, fill out an application, get to know us, and see if you're a fit to be a dynamic speaker at one of our amazing conferences. Who has fun at the conferences? Right? Okay. Be a guest right here with us. I know you're a guest host on the couch, but be a host on your Zoom with us. Go to MinkLife.com/live and fill out an application and come on here and hang out with us. Share your zone of genius, because we always love, that's what makes us better, right? When we hear other perspectives, that's what makes us stronger and better. So we want to hear from you. I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. It was so fun hanging out with all of you and all of you on the couch. I will see you. You won't see me, but I will see you tomorrow at 2:00 Pacific time. And I am not sure who the guest is, but it will be awesome. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.